is a long-term observation done by generations. An observation to me has a meaning. Watching it.
We were disconnected.
Yeah, I mean, disconnected. So I'm repeating.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, I respect my metallurgy friends are coming back and say many reasons. I said, go back to the context, and it's about chemistry and how do you find and extract your steel.
Yes.
So if I go that way, that is because of observation. It's not about knowledge. Knowledge comes from the observation. They didn't have the tools that we had. At least we don't have any evidence of that. I mean, if I want to talk more scientifically, we don't have evidences yet that they had better tools than us, those eras. So observation to me means, watch it wisely and then has a conclusion from it, deliver the conclusion to the next generation. And so that observation and, conclusion that delivered to the next generation and, soundly, delivered to the next generation is an odd, probability for ancient war. Plus, you should be lucky to stay in the mines, still mines that have those qualities that you like it. So all of these odds, comes together and creates a technology advancement in those ancient eras. So yes, in that term, I think what is that Fulad Gohardar, or the jewel steel is all about these two major things, about the knowledge, the whole wisdom I say, wisdom of how to extract it and how to treat it. And chemistry couldn't be controlled that much those days unless some practices, but treatments, how many layers, how to refine it, could be controlled much better. So I think that it happened in Persia very often, and it happened many other places as well. But I've seen even documentaries that it was transferred to Vikings a long time ago.
Yeah.
So yes, that is one of my point of interest. And as you better know than me, nobody could replicate it yet. I cannot even imagine. You have all the apparatuses. That's my claim. We have the best SEM, AFM. I'll tell you what are those SEM, TEM, all the microscopic things, all of those, the best, analytical, chemistry analytical tools. The point is, we couldn't have a replica of it with the same toughness and sharpness in the same time. So it means that there is a secret in processing that.
Yeah. And then even when I worked with many Smiths, like also Germans, Finnish, and Russians, and many who replicated it. But when they replicate, they always replicate the small blade. But then getting the color is not 100%, getting the pattern is not 100%. But then one thing, to get a small blade, fine, get a shamshir, made of crucible steel, right?
So you actually started at one thing that maybe is not related to what you said, but I always say, you're right. So yes, having small batches, imagine today's world. I have a good CPU I invented.
Yeah.
If I cannot do it, like in a million CPUs. I don't have any customers.
Yeah.
But the point is, these steels, Asadullah steels, from Safavid.
Yeah.
They had customers from kings of Poland, kings of France, all over the world. So even there. And then I say, in ancient world, we're thinking that this is what about logistic science.
Yeah.
If that the art can possibly support logistics for military forces. Yes, I have the best sword, but if it is just for king doesn't go to war. The soldier
No,
goes.
he doesn't. He
So I
doesn't go
need to give them to the soldiers.
Yes, exactly.
To just break the shields and the armors and everything, right?
Right.
So it means that knowledge, wisdom was repeatable, and is very impressive for me that how it was repeatable, but keeping the secret. Well, you can sell it to Germans with so many goals, but how was it? But in fact, that all school wars were based on human waves.
Yes.
And like you're just sending, this is exactly what I'm reversing the science, reverse engineering the science. So, there is somewhere that this science is lost, and I need to find it. Where? Manocher knows better than me, not me. I can't find it, but I'm sure to have it. It's like, I'm sure that the scientists that they're sure that there is an X planet somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm sure is there is a lost science somewhere that supports mass production, logistics. If king of Persia, king of India, king of Ottoman Empire, king of wherever, they wanted to send troops somewhere, they needed to have source for all the soldiers, 50,000 armors, swords, and everything. I just said, with you, like, just assume that they just have 50 kilograms per person, which is even, it can be more than that. 50,000 multiplied by 50 kilograms, massive, tons of high-grade steels. So it means that they had those knowledges. We don't have it now. We have our own knowledge. We don't have their knowledge. It's like, let me give an example from two evolutionary paths for humankind. You know that we have Neanderthals and we have Homo sapiens.
Yeah.
So they couldn't even, mate together. But Neanderthals were evolved from some other roots. We evolved from some other roots. Homo sapiens. I don't know if I'm Homo sapiens. Maybe I'm a Neanderthal. I don't know. But I didn't do any genetic test yet. But so I mean, yes, these guys had their own metallurgy science. Even with this, what we call it basic tools, we don't have ability to replicate them now. 21st century. No. We are making nanomaterials. We're making many things. We couldn't replicate. We don't have any copy of it. So that's why I say methodology never tells you 100%. It's always about how many percent you're sure.
Okay. Old manuscripts or Persian manuscripts talk about differentiation of patterns of crucible steel. And I'm one of my new books is going to be published soon, so I'm going to have many more. But I also translated many on Goharname, which I published in New York in one big black section a couple of years ago.
That's a wow. That's a wow.
Thank you. But I just have it was for engineering, metallurgical engineering in New York. But one thing what I would like to ask you, they say we know that patterns. I'm just trying to find the name of patterns like Paye Murche, Magas, Pare Magas. We have things like Rohina, we have Nardaban Muhammad, we have Gol Sorg, we have many type of things. Okay, but patterns, and we are even trying to find out the different types of patterns. So once we have pattern, once we have color, now we know that dark bluish was very valued. We know that, for example, blackish was valued of, and then also when the blackish in contrast to those whitish area, grayish area. And then we have another thing, which they say dohniyat, which they say the flexibility. We have another, many things, and even we have in one of my new books they talk about khamir, right? And they talk about the nature of the blade. And one thing which I would like to ask you, they talk about they could differentiate between tasting the blade and smelling the blade. Could you please expand on that, what they mean with that? Because I think you are the best person to explain that.
I'm not the best person. This is your, I take it like a compliment from a good person. In fact, as I said last time, it's like, those blades, those days is about how much purification and how we do it, which is not that much of in our hand. A little bit of it and was in our hand. I'm just referring to my last sentences. And the ore that we're just selecting it. People were selecting by eye or smell. Okay, I'll tell you about it right now after this. So, but when you're describing those observations that is written in text, like bluish, blackish, yeah, all of those colors comes from the oxide layers that we have on surface of metal, specifically steel here. I've been exposed to it many times. I started with furnace life. A simple steel, you can put in 200, get bluish. You can put it in 300 and get yellowish. It goes on to black. So it talks about the temperature of the tempering in thermal conditions, if it is, or the reaction between of the chemistry with the etching elements that they do.
Yeah.
Because they usually etch it because of the protection, right? That is a sign of chemistry and time and temperature again. So one element of it is that, okay, what was the chemistry of it that comes from the ore, the selected ore? People used to go not just select having all the ores from the mountain, coming back. No, they had instructions. Look, this is my secret. Listen, go and pick this ones. They had an examples of ore, give it to the, what we call it, shagird, bache morshed. They bring it back. Oh, okay, I needed that. You can see that in Japanese,
Yeah, yes.
Japanese people, in katana.
Yeah.
You look at that, they are very strict on that. They were the same way. Okay. Let's go to the next page. That is one thing. Well, and then comes from the patterns. Patterns are influenced by heat treatment and cold and hot working. We know that by metallurgy science. Well, does it mean that is the only controller? No. That chemistry kind of bonds with that.
Yeah.
With one chemistry, you can change many patterns with different working manners. Yeah. Some people really, the guy is just kind of like, skinnier than me, then they tolerate the heat more. Someone, you know, it's like not as, you know, is chubbier than me, doesn't tolerate the heat. So they'll just fold the thing less.
Yeah.
It gives you different patterns.
Yes, that's right.
So if I change this chemistry, yes, again, it changes that. So it means that that secrets that I was talking about, like chest to chest type of transformation, talks about those things. Where to pick the ore, what is it looking like? You can be in an iron ore. Have you been there? You know, I've been there. Iron ore, you can see many different iron ore rocks.
Yes.
They were cherry picking them.
Yeah.
No, not that one, this one. How? We lost it. We don't know it yet.
Yeah.
You will find it out because I know that you're capable. You find it somewhere, all right? Then it comes to the folding, forging, and crucible steel process, what to add, what sands to add, you know, what charcoal, what, you know, whatever. Yes, all of those patterns that you said comes from the combination that I said two of them, but there are subcategories of them. It means that you're talking about more than 100 possibilities.
Yeah.
That's why we still don't know what they did. So 100 possibilities, more than that, they knew what? Especially that toughness or flexibility comes from these elements as well. They are in the body of the steel.
Yes. And when you taste it, Berenjo, when you taste it, why you mentioned to me you could tell the difference by modern steel by tasting. Could you tell us now?
Well, that's very true assessment. You know, it needs, you know, trained tongue. So, oh, that is it. So trained tongue, I say.
Okay.
So we want to do that. You know, that's how it means.
Mm.
Yes, because as my you know little knowledge says, and my little knowledge says, all the reactions in our body comes from chemical, which is divided to pure you know chemical and electrochemical reactions. I've been in situations that I didn't have any apparatus, you know, in the middle of desert, in the middle of, you know, an island in the Persian Gulf, that we didn't have anything to recognize. Okay, if this metal is 316, what we call it, stainless steel 316, more resistant to corrosion, or the basic one 304. Well, guess what? My tongue was my tongue was the tester, and I had the rate of 70%. I can't say close to 70% success. So it means that yes, different elements gives you different tastes. We have organic chemistry and mineral chemistry. So your tongue specifically is very sensitive to electrochemistry as well. Remembering, you put your 9-volt battery in your tongue, you know, it just shock you with kind of weird taste. The same thing for everything. Yes, that is correct. A trained tongue is a good device.
Yes.
It's not proven yet. All of my metallurgy friends said that you're insane, but they haven't been in Persian Gulf in the middle of nowhere, right? So maybe. And yes, it is possible in some extent. Even Germans, old Germans, they had spark tests for different alloys. They were just grinding them, see different spark. Oh, this has molybdenum, this has chromium. You see? And so I had those texts, you know, German 1920. So we didn't have those luxury of having the best tools for, you know, metal recognition. So there are fast things. Yes, this is correct. tongue can recognize the difference between, because when you have those patterns, one pattern is richer than the other pattern. That's why you see a pattern actually, because it's etched.
Yes.
So when your tongue, which has your saliva in it, and I said, it's kind of electrolyte.
Yes, it is.
You put it there, it senses the differences between this pattern and that pattern. It creates a very little electrochemical current that your tongue is capable to recognize it. Same way as your nose. I'm not good at it, but I practice it. That is the only way that they had it. I think that is true, based on very long experience.
Yes. And also, as you see that these patterns they were valued, and they're among collectors really appreciated and valued, because they look like paintings, as we know that they're really.
Yes, they are really.
They're really.
Nothing to say about it,
Yes, that's right. It's
And
really.
some days you see this, I mean, people trying to differentiate it between woods and the other one is like what is that? I forgot that.
The welded steel, you mean? Pattern welded steel?
Yes. So I mean, they fake it out, many days, just fold many metals together and just forge weld it together. I really love, and I don't mind it, I like it, but
it's not steel.
It's not the thing. And even it doesn't have superior properties to, if you just choose a normal, good low alloy steel, for example, for swords. People are getting mistakes and they just want to have a beauty of it. Said, yeah, but it doesn't have that performance. So they're faking it out. But in fact, those are because of a micro compositional difference plus patterns compared to what they call it, like this is, in my opinion, there's macro differences in compositional pattern, and we cannot fake it out. We can't fake this. And I did it in many ways, in a welding way. So it's possible to have the good pattern, not necessarily good properties.
Okay.
Not at all. I guarantee you that,
And would you like to, or would you be interested one day to replicate Crucible steel?
That's my dream.
Okay, yeah.
That's my dream. But, in one hand, I really want to respect the people that I'm just a one person, maybe with my, with all of the team, but they did it through generations. And I said the evolutionary path is different from our path today. To know that if I want to do it, which I dream it, and I was inspired by your writings, honestly, it's not because you're in front of me. I chose to be your friend,
Thank you very much.
kindly accepted that. But on the other hand, I know if I want to just learn how to do that, I need to go back to their mentalities, their restrictions. How did they think? How did they think about it? What did they have? At least we need to have some clues. So yes, I can spend a lifetime on that. Like many people in Florida, in Ohio State, even in Jordan, they had they're good people. They even tried that. I mean, they succeeded in some sort of things, but like you just said, just having one piece, and I was starting. I could be very rich. I was starting from really going, what is the impact value of these swords? That yes, they can be $1 million. We $1,000. That depends on. And you know, what is that? You know, and we need to study many things to just start from there to go back to the history. But yes, the answer is, short answer is yes, but I just told you the challenges.
That's right. We
It's like
just
a real
recently
challenge.
found out, as from mechanical engineering point of view, that even the handle, the way it was mounted, like you have this Ohanak, you know, we have different types in, and the way also it was really riveted to each other, right? The way they was built was to absorb the shock, but today's swords which are made, they don't have these characteristics. Not even the right handle is made for it.
No, just some pains.
Yes, they put some pins, and then when
They're
you
actually
hit,
making more. They're actually making more stress risers right there.
it's actually for your hand. Everything goes directly into your hand.
Come on.
So you know, we have a long way to
It's a long
go.
way. We
Yes.
need to put our feet in their shoes and then think. The problem is, this is what I imagine. We are trying to judge the old ancient ways based on our new, because we are so proud of what we're doing in 20 and 21st century. We're so proud of it.
Yes.
Without knowing that, you know, our ancestors were not idiots. They were even smarter people than us in some points. Yes, we have computers. It doesn't mean that I created that and I'm smart. I'm just using it. I have plenty of problems with them using Windows, you know? So it doesn't mean that I'm smart because I'm using, you know, computer. But in my opinion, I need to just stop what I'm in it. We should stop being proud of what we are and who we are, and put our feet in their shoes, helped by our modern knowledges.
That's right.
Maybe we can reach that point. Maybe.
That's right. Absolutely. You know, it is like it's absolutely true. You know, because these sometimes, let's say, modern arrogance, you know, makes us believe that we know so many things better than back then they used to know. And I think that's a huge problem, because we can measure things doesn't mean we know something, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, absolutely. At the end of our discussion, Behra and John, do you want to add something to our discussion today?
Well, I just have a wish.
Yes, please.
And that is like, you know, people with that has no bias come together as a humankind, you know, not putting medals because of their nations or whatever, putting medals on discovering things that happened in the history.
Yeah, of course.
And then you know, respect the real science and research. This is what I want to add. You know, I believe in it. I live with it, and I respect the people that has that agenda. As you know, we both are international. We have friends from all over the world, more than our mother country even. What I wish is if they just come together and just show that how simple can life be with this agenda. We're just looking to the past, respecting it. This is our work now, I and you. I mean, not me, you, and then I'm following you in some aspects. And respecting that past and learning from good points of it and having it now, because we're lacking of it now. We're just losing many things.
Yeah,
But science-wise, which is the way that I know a little bit about As much as I'm growing, I see that, oh, how much I don't know about these things. And it frustrates me. But I think that if we can have a good team group, a team that can work, then we can help everything that is missing from our lives. That's my dream. I really love the people that, you know, I watch your channels and I see, even I follow their channels, or if they have, you know, or even the publications. Kind of, I don't sleep that much good, you know, in nighttime, so that's my hobby. That's the only wish that I have.
Yeah.
Nothing more.
Thank you very much. I mean, the way we look at it is looking at differences between cultures through the way material culture, arms and armor were produced.
Yes.
By different cultures, different across the planet. It's magnificent to do that. And the responses, right, which were found. Thank you very much, Bryan John, for.
I'm pleased to have you all people here, and I'm sure that you are quality people, because you all are listening to something that really matters to you. And same as me, that I was watching all of you, all of the lives as much as I could, you know, if it was not interfering with my work. And wish you the best.
Thank you very much.
A world without coronavirus.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thank you.